What if I told you the United States has become the architect of its own downfall? What if every sanction, every war, every arrogant move Washington made wasn't just hurting its enemies, but planting the seeds of a brand new world order? And what if I told you that right now, in 2025, that world order is taking shape, in China, at a summit that may go down in history as the moment America lost its empire? This is not speculation. This is not theory. This is happening. Welcome to the Shanghai Cooperation Organization Summit in Tianjin, China, where the biggest countries on Earth just stood up and told America, your time is over. Newton's law says for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. But geopolitics doesn't play fair. When America bombed Iraq, Iraq couldn't bomb back. When America crushed Libya, Libya couldn't retaliate. When America slapped sanctions on Iran, Venezuela, Cuba, they couldn't strike back equally. For decades, the US played the schoolyard bully with no consequences. But here's the twist no one saw coming. The more Washington flexed its muscles, the more it overextended. The more it punished countries one by one, the more those countries decided, enough is enough. They didn't just react. They united. And today, that reaction is called the multipolar world. America's favorite playbook has always been divide and conquer. Keep Russia and China suspicious of each other, keep India far away from China, keep Iran isolated, stop Eurasia from uniting at all costs. But here's the punchline. In 2025, that strategy is dead. Because instead of dividing, Washington has united its rivals into one of the largest alliances the modern world has ever seen. The SCO summit in Tianjin was proof. Russia, China, India, Iran, Central Asia, even countries like Turkey and Saudi Arabia as observers. These aren't minor players, these are giants, nations representing nearly half of humanity, coming together to say, no more American rules, no more American empire, and the United States, for once it can't stop it. And here's the part that should terrify Washington. Donald Trump, thinking he could strong-arm India into becoming a loyal US pawn against China, slapped India with massive tariffs. 50% tariffs on Indian goods. India treated like an enemy economy. Trump thought this would make India desperate for US friendship. Instead, it pushed India right into China's arms. At Tianjin, Modi and Xi Jinping, India and China's leaders, were all smiles, shaking hands, talking about positive momentum and fruitful meetings. Just think about that. For decades, America dreamed of using India as a weapon against China, and now, the two are sitting at the same table making deals, inside an organization designed to push back against the US. That's not just failure, that's checkmate. But the fireworks didn't stop there. Iran's president dropped a bombshell, calling for the death of the dollar, not in some distant future, right now. He laid out 3 steps to escape US financial control. 1. Trade in local currencies. 1. Build digital payment systems outside of US banks. 1. Create an SCO currency fund, immune to American sanctions. Let's be clear, this is Washington's worst nightmare, because the US military might be powerful, but its greatest weapon has always been the dollar. Control of the global financial system meant Washington didn't need tanks to bring countries to their knees. It just froze bank accounts. But what happens when half the world stops using dollars? The sanctions lose their bite, Wall Street loses its grip, and the empire's foundation crumbles from underneath. And that's exactly what Tianjin was about, building a parallel system where America is irrelevant. Then came China's masterstroke. Xi Jinping stood before the world and declared, "We need new global governance, no more double standards, no more one country writing the rules while everyone else obeys, no more house rules of a few imposed on the many. Instead, a system where every nation, big or small, has a voice." Now, whether you believe China actually means that or not, that message resonates, because for the global South, it's not about choosing China over the US, it's about having a world where no single country dominates. And let's be honest, when Xi says this, it sounds a lot more appealing than when Washington says, rules-based order, but only if we make the rules. And the SCO didn't stop there. They called out the United Nations. Think about it. The UN Security Council was designed in 1945, when Europe still ruled half the world. That's why Britain and France, tiny nations by today's standards, still hold veto power. Meanwhile, India, with 1.4 billion people, has none. Brazil, none. Nigeria, none. It's absurd, and everyone knows it. So the SCO called for reform, louder than ever before. A UN that actually reflects today's reality, not yesterday's colonial order. Do you think Washington is ready to give up its grip on the UN? Of course not. But the demand itself shows just how deeply the world has changed. Let's step back and look at the raw numbers. The SCO includes 3 of the top 5 economies on Earth: China, India, and Russia, when measured by purchasing power. Together, they account for nearly a third of the global economy. Add in Iran, Pakistan, Central Asia, plus observers like Turkey and Saudi Arabia, and you're talking about 40% of the human race. This isn't some fringe club. This is an alternative world system, complete with its own trade routes, banks, currencies, and armies. And Washington can't bomb it away, it can't sanction it away, it can't ignore it. So how does America react? With denial, with panic, with finger-pointing? John Bolton admitted it. Decades of U.S. strategy to pull India away from Russia and China, gone, destroyed by Trump's tariffs. Jake Sullivan admitted it. The world sees America as the big disruptor, while China looks like the stable partner. Think about that. The U.S., once the leader of the free world, is now seen as the biggest source of instability. That's not decline. That's freefall. The unipolar era, the age when America stood alone on top, was always going to end. The Iraq War showed the limits of U.S. power. The 2008 financial crash shattered faith in U.S. capitalism. Endless wars drained its treasury. And now, with the SCO summit in Tianjin, the rest of the world is saying openly what used to be whispered: the age of American empire is over. Multipolarity isn't coming, it's here. The only question left is brutal. Will the U.S. accept its new role as just one power among many, or will it drag the world into chaos trying to cling to the throne? Here's the truth nobody in Washington wants to admit. The U.S. isn't being defeated by some external enemy. It's being defeated by its own arrogance, by its own addiction to sanctions, by its own obsession with dominance, by its refusal to treat other nations as equals. The SCO summit didn't just mark a turning point for Eurasia, it marked a turning point for the entire world. And maybe, just maybe, we'll look back and realize that the American empire didn't die in a war. It died in Tianjin in 2025, when the rest of the world simply walked away. If you've made it this far, you know how historic this is, so smash that like button to spread this message. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications because we're going to track every twist of this new world order. And drop a comment below. Do you think America can adapt to a multipolar world? Or will it keep fighting until it collapses completely? Your thoughts matter. This isn't just analysis, it's history unfolding. And we're in it together. Thanks for watching. Stay sharp, stay informed, and I'll see you in the next one.